Right, we're live according to all devices. Welcome back to the live from lockdown show here with the Go Agency. Um, I've got about 4 different colours in my hair, considering already this is going to pot. And I've only just seen Aaron Shepard take his hair down and put it back up, and it is it's looking long. It's looking long. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
So today we've got May from our UK team. We've also got Tom, who edits the vlog, talking about how we create content or how we're continuing to create content every day in this situation with everyone working from home. And then at 12:30 we have Lee Wilcox from Electric House on the show as well, who is also daily vlogging. So I thought that'd be quite interesting too. And yeah, I mean, let's. Oh God, I've got the can't see me issue. Hopefully that's going to come away. I'm going to switch to you. I'm going to ask you a question. What have you got planned for this week? What's on the agenda?
Just mobilising forward, really. We obviously released our thoughts yesterday and over the weekend on sort of COVID-19 and what brands should be doing. It's ensuring that that all of our team members are fully armed with that information. That we've sort of discussed what the strategy is to take this on. Even though it's bespoke to each brand, there are some generalities here, and the need to keep going, the need to add value to consumers is universal. So I think just trying to push that through the agency, continuing to do what we're doing. It's feels like we turned a corner at the end of last week, and we're still going around that corner essentially. It doesn't mean everything's easy and good. There are difficulties at this time, like everyone else has. Product not being able to be sent, and certain campaigns being delayed a little bit. But fortunately, it seems to be that as many things are getting delayed as new things are coming in, but not quite as much. But that seems to be speeding up. So I'm hoping that over the next couple of weeks we'll have started to see brands sort of pull their hands up from under their asses and actually try and do something now. Callum Morgan, it's a very good point. I probably should. It's difficult to get a haircut now, Callum.
It is very difficult to get a haircut. I'm going to bring May in because she's done something pretty commendable over the last 24 hours. May, welcome to Lockdown Live. I'm going to focus on you and Evie, Evie the dog. You volunteered as, or have got a job as a Tesco worker in the evenings, right, to help out?
Yes, so Tesco is one of our clients, and they basically said to us, obviously at the moment they are short-staffed and they need a lot of people very quickly, and so they said if any of their agency partners would like to help out, that we would be more than welcome to. So I had a chat with them this morning with their recruitment team, and I'm doing my induction tomorrow.
Nice. What does that consist of? Have you any idea what you signed yourself up for?
No. I know that I'm only doing like 3 days a week. They only need a couple of shifts, but I think they're going to test my skill set on different parts of the store and see where I shine.
Well, that is commitment to your clients.
I know.
No question about that.
So I'll keep you updated. I'm hoping to get a little name badge, a uniform. I'm very excited about it.
Good. How are you surviving at home with Evie the dog?
Do you know what? I'm so glad I have Evie the dog because I don't have anyone else. I live on my own. And so I actually don't remember the last time I had a proper human-to-human interaction. And I don't know when I next will, which is quite sad. But I got Evie at just the right time a couple of weeks before everyone went into lockdown. The issue is that Evie was used to coming into the office every day, and now that's been taken away from her. I think she really resents me. She loved the attention.
But she's certainly got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Show everyone who is on the stream Evie in her full glory. We can only see her head currently.
Hang on. Oh.
Look how cute she is.
I think she's also in need of a haircut.
Yeah.
She's looking great. How are you finding the working with the team? I mean, you said on the vlog the other day that you're feeling more connected than ever. Like, what does that actually feel like?
I feel like we've all really come together. I think we're actually having to communicate more because we can't go and see each other face to face. And so we've really bonded. I think also because there's been so many changes to our campaigns, it's been difficult for all of us. I think when a team goes through something difficult together, it bonds them really strongly. So yeah, we've made great friends through it. I honestly can't wait to see their faces again when we get back to the office. But as well, it brings out such kindness in everyone. So I was ill last week, and Hannah, who lives nowhere near me, bless her, said to me, if you need anything, May, I can drop off supplies at your house. If you need anything at all, just let me know, which was just so kind of her.
No, it's great. It's great to see people looking after each other.
Yeah.
And in terms of the clients you're looking after, we've asked this question of lots of different members of the GOAT team that have come on. But how are you finding it? You're obviously about 10 days after when we first started this and first asked this question. Like, what are people saying now? They're kind of coming out what feels like the other side of realization that this is going to be a longer term thing than we probably first thought 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, there's definitely been a process of confusion, panic, and then understanding. So actually now my clients have been really open to taking our suggestions on board as to what they should be doing. We have one client, for example, who we're pitching to today, and they're really interested in what they can do on Instagram Live, and kind of providing self-help content, self-development, potentially putting on meditation classes, cook-alongs, to keep people company at this time and to teach people new skills. And I was saying to them, like, people like me who live alone, I really enjoy watching Instagram Lives just for the companionship, just to have someone speaking in the background. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people in my same situation that are watching them for that. So not only to kind of do exercise or learn new skills, but really just for the companionship.
Yeah, I think that's definitely why live is so big right now, is because of that. Even though you could watch a live video 3 hours later and it will still be uploaded, but you don't get the sense that you're all doing the same thing at the same time. There is something unique about that. It's almost like being in the same venue watching a band. It's not, but it's sort of halfway there.
There's a sense of community of watching it all at the same time as everyone else.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm sure that a lot of the people watching live are in your situation where they've sort of been trapped by themselves, and it is a great way to communicate. Which apps have you taken on from a sort of video sharing point of view over the last week or so?
What do you mean video sharing?
Like, are you with your friends? Are you on House Party? Are you on? Are you using Google Hangouts? Have you sort of tried a few different ones? Where do you end?
So I've been doing lunchtime Google Hangouts with my friends. So I'll just put a meeting in, we'll all make our lunch, and then at 1 o'clock we'll sit down and all eat together and talk. So kind of like you normally would at a restaurant, just catching up with friends, but using that lunch hour to stay in contact with everyone, which has been really nice. I've also been on House Party. I know a lot of people have deleted House Party yesterday because there was a bit of a hacking scare. But yeah, a lot of people are on it at the moment.
Yeah, I had a few people message me about that. I've got no idea if it's true or not.
They've already come out last night or overnight in the US and said that we don't think that anything has been breached, and if anybody can prove that it has been breached with actual evidence, we will give them $1 million.
Wow. Okay, well that's
they've created an email called bounty at houseparty.com, and if you can email them actual evidence of the hackers being a thing and taking people's passwords, and they will donate $1 million to you. As someone that's not. Yeah, exactly. So it was they called it a smear campaign in their tweet, which means that they probably believe that it's by another video sharing app, which is trying to take away the attention, knowing that House Party is so successful right now. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, really interesting.
Well, it certainly works. It's spread panic. It's an interesting point around fake news and how easy it is. When so much at the moment is shared by WhatsApp, the amount of messages that I've got where it's a friend of mine has said this, and I asked the person, like, is that actually your friend, or was that forwarded on from it? And it's, oh no, it's forwarded on, like, and it's like, where do these things actually start? How much can we trust them? You know, it's at a time when people are sort of, anything can happen. It's quite scary that anything's believable. You know what I mean? And so it's going to be really challenging how we decide what is true, what isn't true. That house party rumor, if that's not true, that could cost them billions. You know, it's absolutely enormous, the impact of that on their business. If it is started by a competitor or someone like that, and I'm not for 1 second saying it is, then that's horrendous.
And you can see the impact when you look on your friends list on House Party. It just comes up with deleted users. So many people have left the platform already.
Wow, it'll be interesting to see if they come back. You know, for the days people
I
realize
think
it's true.
I think the app and the user experience is so good that people will see it as being far superior, and once they realise it's not true, they will come back. I genuinely, it's probably the best video app I've used. It's way better than FaceTime. It's way more intuitive than any one of those platforms. Obviously, we've seen Skype over the last 11 years get absolutely battered around by Microsoft. If we think back 11 years to where Skype was, and it became the term for video calling, and now 10 years further on, since Microsoft have bought it, Zoom has almost taken that mantle, and despite people still having a huge amount of, despite Skype still having a huge amount of users, they're not capitalizing on what is a huge shift into video conferencing like they should be able to, just because actually their marketing has been very, very poor, and also the product is just terrible for intuitive users, and they've made it harder and harder to use, whereas before it used to be so easy. Question from the LinkedIn live feed, May. Do you think working remotely from the world has made you more creative and better at what you do? That's from Aaron Needham.
Oh, I do actually. I think that when we're at our desks, we have so many distractions constantly. People will always come up to you, and it's difficult to get into a flow where you can really think about something deeply. And I think when I'm at home, it's easier to just really focus on what I want to do. I don't have people coming in and asking me questions. And so I do feel like I have been more creative in that way.
Nice. I mean, are people forcing you to be creative? Is it because people are sending things on rather than coming over and to have a chat? Like you're having a bit more time to yourself to think over an email or to think over things that are being sent to you?
Yeah, it's more thinking time, and I think maybe it's also being exposed to more stuff. Everyone is sharing so many things at the moment. The situation is developing so quickly, and I think when you're exposed to more ideas, it makes you more creative.
Agreed. May, thank you very, very much for coming on. Thank you to Evie the dog as well for making
Bye.
so cute. And yeah, we will see you soon, I'm sure. See you later. Bye. Right, bringing in Tom Freeman. I've got 10 minutes with Tom Freeman from the vlog. Here he is. Look at his kitchen table. How are you?
Mate, you've stitched me right.
It's a cracking tree you've got in there.
Thank you. It's a rubber plant. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can.
So Barnet already. You've mugged me right off, put me after May. I'm not volunteering anywhere.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Just haven't got time, mate. I need to.
Talk me through creation of content in these positions that we find ourselves in, working at home. It's very different. Obviously, the requirement for production is still very high because the value of content is very, very high. But actually, creating that content is much harder than it has been previously. The requirement for a videographer is drastically reduced, but the requirement for good editing and good storytelling is right there. Like, how are we dealing with that?
Well, when has this job not been, pedaled to the floor? It's always been a challenge. I said last time I was on, it's the reason I joined the company. It's the only challenge that I hadn't, got my teeth into. But I think obviously the need for content is at an all-time high. what we're trying to do, or at least I'm trying to do, is try and make sure we're not just filling the void with anything. Still trying to keep the production value high when we don't have, match or like higher resolution cameras, all that sort of stuff. But in terms of the stuff that's coming in, I think me and Harry discussed on a call this morning just about the importance of us putting in the groundwork for a lot of different things in the business, but vlogging a big the fact episodes in now and then happens put us in a really advantageous place, because we've already come up with it. We've already hit a lot of these barriers already. For example, like trying to figure out how to do a vlog the next day when the whole team is in LA and we've got time issues. Or I think in the last 300 days, we've come up against almost every problem that we're seeing in this situation. Apart from the complete, the collaborative nature of us being all together. I'm fascinated to hear what the On the Tools guys say, and so they've rebranded, haven't they? Sorry, what's the Electric House?
Electric House. I'll absolutely kill you for that. That's fine.
Yeah. You're definitive now.
There's two questions.
Go on, Harry.
Yeah, there's two questions here that I'm interested in having answers from you, Tom. One from Jamie Ray and one from Faraz Karim. Jamie says, do you guys create a plan at the beginning of the week for daily content, or keep it fluid and decide day by day? And then Faraz asks, what is the review process for the vlogs, and how many iterations does it take to get it right before we can release it, and who sees it?
Sure, some good questions. So I suppose we don't plan. It's always been a fluid thing, because that's how we want it. That's the energy we wanted. Obviously, there's certain situations where we'll have to plan, a little bit more in advance, but very rarely the vlog. We've always tried to keep it.
The irony of Tom dropping out here.
Tom, I'm going to stop you there. You're going to have to move. You're going to have to move somewhere else.
Oh man. Stay with me, folks. I'm here.
I feel like you're getting better as you walk.
How's this?
That's better. Come on. Get talking now.
Shall I sit on the toilet? Shall I sit on the loo, or? No.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I'm in the bathroom. How about that? Good for sound.
That's fantastic.
So the questions again. Do you guys create a plan at the beginning of the week for daily content for the week ahead, or keep it fluid and decide day by day?
So yeah, it's fluid. It's fluid day by day. The nature of the vlog is that we always shoot one day on, and then the next day that'll be that episode. I think you can always have, more macro chats about what the vlog could be over the next week, or if there's something big coming up, and we can plan ahead for that. But I think the reason it stayed at the front of people's minds is that they know that it's yesterday that's coming at them today. So fluid is the answer to that. The second question, who sees it? You have to be a very fast editor to be on our team, basically. You have to be very, you have to be able to pick something up and run with it, and it's not the sort of thing that you can constantly version, just because of the time constraints and the issues that come with that. So, I mean, occasionally we'll if we've got a difficult narrative that we're dealing with, we'll all watch it together midway through the day. So I can bounce ideas off people, or if our assistant editor Craig is having some creative block, then we'll sort of throw some ideas around. But as the years progressed, we've both become quite symbiotic in terms of what we're after each day. So it's much more about the thing we talk about most is how are we going to post this? Is the copy right? Does the thumbnail reflect what we're trying to do? Is it going to grab your attention? The vlog by its very nature has to run at full pace, so versioning isn't a luxury that we always have.
Okay, cool.
You got me? Yeah. So what is it that or how do we split the roles and who is on the team? Like, how does it work between the people that actually create the vlog and the content we create every single day? Like, if people want to do this, like, what are the skills that they need? Whether or not it's one person or 3-4 people, like, what are the actual skills that are required to create this sort of content?
I mean, it really all excuse me, it really all boils down to willingness. So if you guys weren't willing to do this, this wouldn't work. If the employees weren't willing to have someone in their face, it wouldn't work. So willingness, whether you're a 100-person company or a person talks to their webcam, it's all about willingness, like just wanting to do it and having that behind you. In terms of how the team looks at the moment, I'm the main editor, lead video producer, so I'll do the sort of the lion's share of the edits or make the larger creative decisions. And then I have an assistant, Craig, who has been with us for about a year, and I've been sort of showing him how we best do this thing daily and not kill ourselves in doing it. And he's a great editor. We've had an amazing year. I think you'd agree as a team. He's a great asset to the team. And then we have a wild card who is Matt, which is something that I don't think any of us could have counted on. What Matt has sort of become in our content. So initially it was people that follow the vlog will know that initially it was very much a fly on the wall, and Matt was someone who could operate a camera that knew Harry's girlfriend. That was it. So the boys wanting to run with this, they decided that let's go, let's try it. Turns out he's a complete original, a complete creative original, and a linchpin of the vlog, because I don't know what it would look like now without Matt. I definitely think it wouldn't have been anywhere near as fun or as engaging. So I think we've definitely got an ace up our sleeve with Matt. But if you don't have a Matt, it shouldn't stop you, because whereas before it was people wanting to. Yeah, he is John Barton. Oh, there he is. He's always the first commenter, John Barton. Thank you for that. Yeah. I'm going around the houses here, but essentially it's a 3-man team, and then occasionally we've had different people come in for different things, but a very small team, and for a vlog we kind of have to run like that. As we progress and as we go on, we're going to expand the team and lots of different features and things like that. But yeah, as for now, it's 3.
So on that basis. On that base of expansion, question from Ollie Cooper on the YouTube comments. If you want to pull that up, Harry, what do you look for in a video? What is it? Is it speed? Is it an eye? Is it?
I look for someone that can teach me how to make pesto, which Ollie Cooper did. He's a very good friend of mine. I went to uni with him. What do you look for in a video editor? Someone that engages with what they're editing. So many, like my catchphrase over the last year is, now because of technology, so many people can edit and so few should. There's so few editors that actually engage with what they're watching and thinking about a more creative way to put it together. I bet Ollie is a rare example of someone that he's engaging with it at the root of what you're trying to get across. And when we're dealing with what we're dealing with, you really have to cut to that. Like, what are we actually saying? What are they talking about? For a vlog editor, you need to be very speedy. You need to engage with what you're being given every day. But also kind of, leave your perfectionism at the door if you're a vlog video editor. Because there's always tomorrow. All I've tried to do for this whole year is make sure that when I leave and as we publish, that I'm proud of it and that it's something that we haven't done before. We don't always succeed, but again, it's the nature of daily vlogging. You can't win all the time, but I think us more than most have done a really good job.
So I've got a question for you. For you've obviously been around a few blocks. You're 86. What's your?
That's the year I was born, rather than that. But yeah.
I'm being very kind if it's the year you were born.
Yeah.
as someone that's born around then too. What's your advice to a sort of a 16, 17-year-old who's trying to get because I completely agree with you. I think there are lots of editors and there are very, very few really good editors. And, it takes some experience, but there's also a talent element to it. And, you have been around box that you often can see problems before they arise. What's your advice almost to yourself going back to a 16, 17-year-old? What do you wish you'd done more of? What didn't you see at the time that was actually really useful for you?
I suppose going back, I would have embraced YouTube a bit more. I think if I was 16 now, I'd probably be listening to someone else telling me to go and engage with those new platforms, because you never know really what's going to happen with them. So there's lots of reasons I didn't start being a YouTuber or going down that route. Mainly just because I was just trying to grind, like trying to get out there. And I always had a mantra that I'd always meet my next job on the job that I'm doing, and that's got nothing to do with the job you're actually doing and how you're presenting yourself, because people want to work with people. That's regardless of what it is, they want to work with someone that they enjoy working with. So I almost felt like I'd turn up at early gigs when I was young, and people were just phoning it in, and they were just dicking about and just trying to do what they, just trying to get. They'd rather get a cool, edgy shot than know they've got the coverage they need, for example, something like that. I just met a lot of people that were showing me how not to do it early on, so that was kind of lucky. But just also attach yourself to a mentor. You never know where those people are going to come from. Like, just going back to Ollie before, we met at uni and we didn't, we weren't. I don't think we were working in film at all then, because that's when I started it, but right at the end of uni. We sort of bonded over guitar and Pink Floyd more than film. But Ollie turned into one of my mentors. Ollie's just one of those very, again, like top level thinkers, and he's one of those people that you lean in when they start talking. He's very calming, and so in our last place we worked at, he became a mentor to me in terms of some of the process that I use at Goat were taught to me by Ollie. So it's keep an eye out for mentors, because you never really know where they're going to come from. They could be younger than you, as Ollie is.
Have a chat with Ollie.
Yeah, we should definitely bring Ollie in. I mean, I'd love to hear Ollie's. I feel very lucky being with you guys at the moment, in terms of so many people in the creative arts are suffering right now. I know Ollie's going to be fine, just because people want to work with him regardless. But I'd love to hear from him at some point this week when I'm back on, about how people are doing when every shoot's getting cancelled, and maybe if we can offer some tips that have worked for our business that could help him and other creatives out, maybe.
Sure.
For sure. I mean, there's been lots of questions for you, Tom, which has kind of sparked me to think that we maybe should do like a vlog team edition of this one day this week, where we can field all these questions for a long period of time. We get you, Craig, and Matt on. So we'll probably do that.
Vlog, so.
That's true. Well, we can have an hour off. But there's questions about tech. There's those questions about how we make original content, or do we care about that scripting rather than making the content production look good? Talk about vlogging workshops and how-tos, which we've talked about, potentially one of the things that we want to do whilst we're in the work
during
from
the
home.
lockdown, I will be at some point during the lockdown, I will be picking apart one of our old episodes and putting it back together and showing people how we did that. Probably the one of our biggest vlogs, the KSI fight, because that takes in obviously all of the elements of my editing process, but then you've got that extra thing.
Still my favourite vlog and my favourite evening of last year.
Well, I'm glad. That's the feeling I get when I was younger, and I made it.
And I said it's the most fun I've ever had with Harry Hugo.
Wow.
And
it's hard to have fun with me, to be fair.
It didn't start off that way. I remember you bickering on the flight, but apart from that.
Oh, I'm sure we bickered.
Right, Tom, it's been a pleasure having you on, my friend. I'm going to have to kick you off. I've got another guest waiting.
Ask the guys how they're getting on. I'm going to stay on and watch, and I might have to get on with some work, but I'm really fascinated to hear how those guys, having just jumped into it, are dealing with daily blogging.
Sure. Okay, lovely to have you, and we will we'll set up. Could be tomorrow where we have all three of you on for an extended period of time.
Great, man. All right. See you later.
See ya.
Right, on to my second favourite vlog that goes out every single day. It's Lee Wilcox from Electric House. How are you?
All right, guys.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. All good. All good. Good. In the same position I've been for 2 and a bit weeks now. So just getting all becoming a bit normal now, isn't it? In terms of being at home and stuff, which is I guess relatively alarming, but all good. How's that was enjoyable, by the way. I just sat in the green room then, in the digital green room, watching that. Was good.
Yeah, let's start. I mean, you're obviously not changing from your sort of PE teacher outfits every single day, which is good to see.
Just getting prepped for. I mean, you don't want to see the sort of like legging thing I've got on for naughty, but I like going a bit of a run each day to get out. So.
Let's start off with the vlog because it's something that you started 14 working days ago, which seems like an eternity ago, to be honest. But obviously, so much has changed, and you've had to tackle so many different things. For the context of the viewer, Lee is the CEO of Electric House, and they started daily vlogging 2 weeks ago, but they've been vlogging for about a year, 18 months, probably weekly. So the transition into daily has been at probably the worst possible time you could have possibly chosen. So congratulations on that. And talk me through how that process has changed from creating a story on a weekly basis to now on a daily basis.
Yeah, so we did vlogging on a weekly basis like years ago, and then through on the tools, but we did it more on the I guess more on the production side of things. So we'd often follow people going out on shoots and stuff, and then we stopped it for a bit, then we picked it back up and rolled with it from like when we covered trying to raise money and doing different things. And then obviously, the whole daily thing was inspired by you guys doing that and seeing the success and the amount of content you were putting out. And we wanted to get to that point. I'd spoke to you guys about that as well, and I'm lucky enough to have be able to pick up the phone to you guys when we need to in that capacity. So I think but the transition from weekly to daily, I mean, Jamie and his team obviously prepped for that and made sure that they could get the right setup, and we'd sort of got it all done. And then like 3 days in, I shut the office. So it had gone from him being able to have like a lot of full, bear in mind, at this point we just moved into the offices, so there was a key plan around us moving into the new offices and being able to go daily. The offices that we were in previously were just a nightmare to be able to capture people in the right way, and all going back onto one floor made it a lot easier and made more sense. We were like, well, let's gear up for that. We'll get moved. We'll do all that, and then and then the world ended. So I guess I think we had 3. I think there was 2 vlogs that went out. I think they'd started filming on the Monday, and then we shut the office on the Thursday. So they'd gone from having a good couple of days of being able to like really roam around and hit that daily, and then it stopped. It didn't stop, but obviously their capacity and how they would film usually did. It's been a lot of input from the team, I guess, similar to what you guys have had. Everyone's had to muck in and become content creators again, and they've been brilliant. And I think your creative thinking has to go even further before you don't want things to go flat. And I know Jamie and the guys are consistently trying to come up with more and more ideas to make sure we're keeping people engaged. Because I think the problem is at the minute as well, particularly through LinkedIn, is that everyone's talking about the same thing. Everyone's stuck in these 4 walls. So it is quite difficult to create things that are different. So I think it's there's a massive change for the guys, and they've had no. I don't know whether there's an argument that it's good when it happened. They almost didn't have the chance to fully get into office life on the daily. you know, a couple of days in, and it got ripped away from him, and maybe that was better. Who knows?
Have you found it's the fact that you are vlogging now has helped keep the team tighter as you? Because like for us, there's a group with most goats in that Tom is essentially sort of asking for things, right? He'll ask for a video around this or around this or around that, and that just the nature of that and everybody going and doing similar things actually pulls people together. It might be everyone, you know, anyone that's got coffee at home, you know, let me get your coffee videos this morning, and all of a sudden there's a sense of, oh, we're all doing the same thing. Are you finding that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the you know, I think Jamie and his team are jumping into each Slack group or each Slack channel and requesting things, putting stuff in the team one. I mean, Slack's never been so. I'm going to be cool, Harry, as you know I am. It's never been so lit.
You're great.
I know. I'm like a granddad, aren't I? I was trying to speak to Harry the other night on House Party, and I just could not work out what the fuck was going on. It was just embarrassing. I was trying to turn my notifications off.
It was
yeah,
like four people that night messaged me asking me for tips of how to fix things, notifications, how to lock groups and things. I'd had the app for 20 minutes. So, oh God, I was just intuitively working it out.
I missed Star Company quiz last Friday because I just couldn't understand the bloody instructions.
It was on Google.
Yeah, it's all a bit too much, isn't it, Aaron? I mean,
it is.
You know. But no, I think absolutely the togetherness across the business based on everyone trying to muck in and do the same things. It's almost like a daily task, and whoever can get involved, and people who can't, but that's fine, you know. And I think it's definitely built up a lot of camaraderie. I know that people are also just internally within the team just looking forward to being able to watch the vlog, because there is that, you know, I think the biggest thing we've noticed, particularly this week, I think this has been what I took like daily calls morning and evening at the minute and doing all that, and is that the start of this week was where people then it suddenly sank in that this isn't going to change for a while. You know, we shut the office a sort of a week and a bit ahead of before all the announcements. So we've you know, as of Monday we were already into like 2 and a bit weeks, and I think over the weekend, the realization with some of the stuff that was announced at government was that actually this, you know, when it was first announced, oh, this might last 3 months, it's going to be, everyone was like, oh, yeah, but no one really thought it was going to last 12 weeks. Like, you know, a couple of weeks, we're back to normal. But actually, the reality is kicking in that this isn't going to move for a bit. And I think the vlog is definitely keeping people in touch with each other and connected, definitely.
I think that's a really good point around that. I honestly think that people that decided last week this is going to be 6-9 months, whatever it is, have got a huge advantage in this situation. And you know, people in businesses that are continually getting surprised. Like I'm surprised. I still speak to people now, and they're saying, "Oh no, I'm pretty sure in like 5 or 6 weeks everything will be back to normal." And I'm like, "What are you on about?" You know, and in a week you're going to have a catastrophe when you realise this is not going to be that. Whereas even if we're wrong, it's only a positive. If we plan for a year in lockdown and it's only 2 months, great. If it's only 3 months, great. If it's only 4 months, great. 5 months, great. Like, they're all benefits. So like I don't understand people that are still not looking at the worst case scenario here and then working backwards. Once you've established that worst case scenario, then it should get better every day, you know, rather than worse. And I think that's the difference I see in businesses. People that were saying to me last week, oh, this is going to be a year, have already started to see good things happening and starting to see success. Everyone that's sort of hanging on to, oh, this will just be 6 weeks, is seeing nothing good happen.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult concept to get your head around, though, isn't it? When you know, and I don't know what you guys have been doing. When you've been getting out for an hour or whatever and having a walk or a run, or you know, just whatever. But it really is like I think the concept of why it's only going to last a couple of weeks does sort of make sense to me, because it just doesn't seem real or right. Like I ran past Morrison's yesterday, and it's like it's like the fucking Hunger Games. Do you know what I mean? It's like the government are telling everyone how to walk and how to queue up and how to. Do you know, it just doesn't. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. You know, every shop is shut. You go through a town centre and there's no one there, and it's like I can understand why people are like, this can't last for 12 weeks or for 6 months or whatever. But the reality is that this isn't going to be back to normal in 4 weeks' time. You know, there's not a chance in hell it can be back to normal. So it's a horrible time for everyone. You know, I think particularly for businesses like ours that are built on people and collaboration and togetherness and that those human connections. Digital's great, and this is great. You know, this is a highlight of my day, guys. I'm getting to speak to people that aren't internal, and
Yeah, no, I get you.
Do you know what I mean? And I think, but it doesn't replace the real thing, does it? And I think that's what people. I think that's what's really important. If you are team leader or whatever the capacity is that you've just got to still make sure you're keeping in contact with people and making sure that they've got that period of time to connect in different ways and about different things, not just about work, not just like what is happening with this. It's got to be, people have got to take some time to have conversations that aren't around this absolute shitstorm that we're in.
Exactly.
How have you created a team? Like we've created a team around us to kind of really work on the coronavirus plan and to keep us updated and to deal with all sorts of different elements of it, be it government updates, policies, people, HMRC, like all the different things that we have to do, just the work from home stuff, how we're going to re-evaluate training, all these different things that have to be changed. What have you done and what have you done
across the UK, the US and Singapore as well? It's not just the government advice for the UK. We didn't.
I mean, I'm glad I don't. 3 weeks ago, I wish I did have the problem of having a US office and a Singapore one, but now I'm glad I haven't got to look at 3 different lots of government guidelines. Absolutely. I mean, I feel, there you go, Aaron, that's positive, mate. I've only got one to look at. See, there's always a positive spin on things, isn't there? But yeah, I think so. So we've been put in. From a leadership point of view, our biggest concern was contact with the team. So we've put really good plans in place to be having that constant contact. So there's morning and evening calls. We've got directors' calls of an evening, every evening. Each team has a call every morning and evening as well. So there's that element, and then you've got the senior leadership team, which we've got certain people dealing with HMRC and government guidelines every day, that then gets fed into that senior leadership team and then fed out to the team if it needs to. We're having a company-wide meeting every week anyway, which as normal. I think that's another thing, is the whole lot business as usual thing. We've sort of tried to keep the elements of structure that we've had previously and still keep them ticking over. Obviously, we've got finance onto any of the banking and assistance with regards employee furloughing and all that type of thing. There's a team of people that are pulling information in every day, and then we assess it and then go from there. It's pretty much all you can do, isn't it? I think at this stage, planning for training, something we're working on this week actually, in terms of how that gets done, and are there other opportunities for people to do training that they might not necessarily have had time to do before, or and now actually, because of the structure we've got, they may well fit into being able to do some online courses that maybe they weren't going to do before, or so I think there's always opportunities, isn't there, in these types of times when behaviorally we have to look at things differently, and then it opens up other doors, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. There's always opportunity. Nothing's ever as final or black and white as everyone thinks. And as I've said, it's a weird thing where for all those smaller entrepreneurs out there, you've got more of a chance over the next year or two than if this hadn't happened. And I know that sounds weird, and it certainly doesn't feel like it right now, but it will be the case. And throughout sort of recorded human history, that has always been the case. Every time there has been a major crash or a major recession, opportunistic people have used that to create incredible things out the back of it. And you can look back at 2008 and see all the business that came out of that. You can go back to the initial Wall Street crash. You can go back to the Spanish flu, go back to all sorts of things and see countless examples of innovation, because the world changes quicker at times like this than at any other time. And it's always smaller units that make big changes quickly. Big established organizations don't do that. So, there is definitely an opportunity for smaller entrepreneurs, but they've just got to be really smart and clever and take the right risks at the right time. And lots of people will fail, but some will succeed and create things that we didn't foresee coming.
Yeah, definitely. Opportunity is rife. Even now, even like 2 weeks into this mess, you can see things happening. What will that look like in 2 months' time? What will it look like in 6 months' time? That's when things start to normalise from a activity perspective, where brands start coming back out the ether again, and where the shops are back open and in capacity like that. I think there's the opportunity is there. People have got to be, like you say, it's the agile ones, isn't it, that do it though.
In terms of your office, you're in the opposite situation to us. We're very, very lucky to have an office that's finished its lease at exactly the right moment. You've started a long-term lease at exactly the wrong moment. What is your current situation with that? Like, what are you planning around office space?
Not much. Not much, to be honest. I mean, there's only so much we can plan for with the situation and with that. As a business owners, I'm sure you're well aware that lease agreements are probably the most watertight things you can ever get yourself involved in. And ultimately, we've just moved in there and done the fit out and stuff. So timing wise, I mean, you couldn't write the shit, could you? But look, we struck a good deal when we did that. We didn't put the business at risk by doing it. We never would have moved there. It's not anything we can't cope with moving forward. So I'm more bothered about the fact we're just not being able then to actually use it. Who likes paying for stuff and then not being able to use it? It's rubbish. But it'll be fine. But yeah, in timing wise, couldn't have been worse, could it? We actually paid the bill about 2 days before we left the office. But that's the way it works. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. You can't. We're really pleased with the office fit out. The company Stillo who did the fit out did an amazing job with it. You can't. We would have had to pay for it. It's ours now. So yeah, we have to just suck it up and get the hell on with it.
Fair enough. There was a question earlier. How do you think we obviously are starting to sort of become aware that maybe we'll never need quite the office space in the new world that we did in the old world? That doesn't mean we won't have office space. I think we definitely will. But maybe we won't have the amount of space that we had before. Maybe we'll have more of a work from home culture. And we're open to that, and we'll see how things progress. We might find that in 3 months' time, everybody just wants to go to an office. They're just fed up of being at home. So actually it has the opposite effect. But where is your head now? Do you see that maybe the sort of requirement for physical office space going forward might reduce a little bit? I don't think, go completely, but could you see a world coming forward out of this where people are commuting less? Maybe 3 days.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think that and I'm always been relatively clear on my view of the work from home thing. It's not something that we roll out too much across the business. It does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't. It does happen occasionally, but again, because of what we do and the amount of production we do, it's sometimes quite very, very difficult for that to happen anyway. But I absolutely think it will. With you, that it could have the opposite effect though, for a period of time where people are like, I don't really want to be at home, I just want to come into the office. I think that'll soon fade away again, and it'll just go back to the balance. But I absolutely think that business owners will be looking at office space in a completely different way. I think if you own, I wouldn't want to be a huge real estate owner of corporate office space right now, because I think it's going to change, and it's definitely made me look at the space we've took and then gone, oh, actually, we've been earmarking, oh, we can probably get to say 120, 130 with loads of hot desking, and not having to change too much of the, losing all the sort of like cultural space within the office and breakout and stuff like that. Now I'm like, it's 200. Yeah. I'll fit 300 in there. I mean, you suddenly go, actually, rent's going to become cheaper per head. That is a fact. I think it's going to be one of the biggest things to come out of, and even I think where it's going to change as well. It's just, and I think I said this on the vlog a couple of days ago. It's really interesting behaviourally how the mindset has changed on stuff that was already available. So like Zoom, is now worth billions. The share price is like exponentially grown in such a short space of time. It's been around for years. Like, it's not like video call. Everyone's like video call, but now I'm not video calling friends and doing it because of the situation we're in. I think what's going to happen is those calls, those sales calls that you make in person, those sales meetings you make in person because you want that connect. Actually, I think there's going to be way more value put on people's travel time, because we've been forced to utilize technology in a way that we probably didn't before, even though it was there. But now we've been forced to do it. I think the behaviour thing that will come out of that is that people will go, actually, I'm going to do a video call, I'm going to save my time, I'm going to find the info I need, then I'll go and see people if I need to go and see them.
I completely agree. I am not willing to do the sort of travel that I was doing over the last few years. I'm just not.
And how funny that, probably 3 weeks ago, you probably still were. Do you know what I mean? It's just how quickly things, when really forced to it. I mean, you never would have, I don't think anything else would have changed your mind in such a speedy fashion. But
yeah, I mean, I've resented it for a long time. If you talk to Nick, any time it's like, oh, Aaron, you've got to go and do this. Like, it's not an easy process. It's me going, oh, I really don't want to do this, and then eventually agreeing to it because I feel like it's the best thing to do. But now that we've seen another sort of side to it, I've started to think, well, maybe it isn't the best thing to do. Maybe really need to be there face to face. Can I not just do this over a hangout? You really need me to fly 4,000 miles for an hour meeting. It just seems nuts. So no, I think that will definitely be a big change. Will be, people just not willing to travel, and I think not. I don't think it will be from a climate point of view, which is what I think it's always been. It will just be from that's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous for me to spend 2 days going somewhere for an hour meeting, and I'm not, as a human being, I'm not willing to do that. I just think that's what will change.
I genuinely believe that a lot of businesses will, including ours. I've spent the last 2 weeks in budgets and operational costs, etc. And I think I genuinely believe that businesses will be operating in a leaner and more cost-effective way. Absolutely. I just think people are going to place more value on those lines of expenditure that have been going out that can be cut based on a video call, or that can be cut based on the fact that actually when we were in Corona, when we were in lockdown, we didn't need it. Why do we need it now? That's going to be one of the posing questions, which I think is super interesting. I think it's when you look at the positives to come out of all these things, I think value will be held in different places, definitely.
I completely agree. I think it will. I think what this has done is exactly that. It's made a lot of people review everything, and then when you really start looking at everything, you start, what the hell are we doing that for? Why are we doing that? We're spending how much a month for what? Like, because that one person asked for it once. Well, stop it. It's $8,000 a month. You know what I mean? Like, it's mad. Yeah. You scale up. When we started to look at even the office costs, right, of how much actually cost us just to maintain the office with food and drink and all these sorts of things. Yeah. And it's thousands and thousands a month. Like, it's And we've always thought, well, it's worth it because if you break it down, it's 30 quid an employee, it's this, that, and the other.
Yeah, yeah.
A line item, it starts to go, fucking hell, what the earth are we doing that for? So I think there'll be a lot of that for people.
Lee, you're a production-led business as well, which is obviously a key element of one of the things that's going to affect it the most. How are you tackling that, knowing that this is going to be a long-term principle and something that we're going to have to move around quite a lot in order to get right? Like how does production for you look in 3 months' time and right now?
Yeah, so it was one of the things that was the main reason that we shut the office earlier than what most of us did. When we were shutting it, and definitely got questions on it of like, don't you think that we're making a knee jerk? Aren't we doing this too early? But our vision of this was that we only need one person in the office at that point to get it, and it was a 2-week lockdown for everyone, and that meant operationally our production was gone. That was it. We were done. And then not only were we done for 2 weeks, we were done ahead of everyone else. So everyone else was still like motoring along, and we were shut down. Whereas when everyone shut down in a certain capacity like we are now, I feel you get more understanding from clients. You get more flexibility, and internally you get more flexibility. So definitely getting ahead of it was our main objective, which then meant we could get ahead of our creative. So we knew as soon as we'd left the office, 3 days later, even some of the friends that I've got who were just not taking any of this seriously at all were then like, oh shit, like you were right. And because of that, we were then contacting clients. We were internally planning on all of the channels that we operate on, creating content. We'd already started putting plans in to create alternative creatives for it. So every project we had on, we'd already done alternative creatives that would allow us to film at that point on a site somewhere remotely, because we were still out filming, or in the home, or domestically, I guess, as we positioned it. And then obviously as that went on, it's just become the domestic shooting, because we just cannot, we're not sending anyone out. Interestingly, construction sites, if you look at it from an on the tools perspective on production, a lot of them are still open, but it's a bit polarizing really in terms of the way that is, because you've got a lot of people who are out still working who don't want to be out working, but they've literally got no choice because they just don't fit the help that's being provided by government. And even that came out very late. So it's a bit of a mess that end, but we're not really, we're not willing to keep sending everyone out shooting, obviously. So production is, the guys have had to, the team have had to do a lot of work in a really short space of time to make sure we were ahead of it. But look, the plan is that we double down on content creation for our own channels, because this is the opportunity, right? That's where you've got to be. Everyone's eyeballs are going to be on social, so we need to make sure that we're fulfilling that. So it's changed massively. You think about whether people, you think about a production team, you don't think about them all working remotely in their houses and then pulling stuff together. It's just, but I think the difference is going to be is that, like I said before, there's a lot more flexibility from everyone. No one is expecting to look at social and see high value production shoots of like cars on tracks and it's just, that isn't what is going to be expected. Everyone is expecting to see the normal and relevant thing at the moment is things being shot in the home or in the garden or whatever that might be. So there's a bit of a strategy.
To say as well that if you do any of that high production stuff, people are going to think, what on earth is going on? The roads are shut. We're in lockdown. We're not outside. Having an ad where people are, hugging friends that they meet out in the street, like everybody's going to look at that and go, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that now. So you can't use that stuff anymore. You certainly can't create it. But even if you could, the consumers would reject it anyway because it doesn't fit in with their current paradigm. Unless
you can clearly show that it's old content. If it looked like it had been filmed after all of this, you're going to look like a bunch of shits anyway, aren't you? You're going to look like you're going against everything that everyone's trying. And this is the thing: everyone is trying to work towards making sure that this gets solved. So you go against that as a publisher or as a brand, and you are in a pickle. Like, it is the wrong play. So yeah, I think it's changed a lot, Harry, in answer to your question. But we're coping with it at the moment. I think it will no doubt change again. The guys are consistently looking at the trends at the moment, which I think I'd sort of urge anyone to do, because often the greatest ideas aren't going to come from brands or publishers or agencies. It's just going to come from individuals in this period of time, because it's just so many people are picking up their cameras to do different things, more as well, but just because they're bored. Like, everyone is bored. It gets to the evening and people just like, oh, I've got nothing to do. So you're going to see loads more influencers and content creators just come out of the woods that have never even considered doing it before, but now they're going to be all over it.
I completely agree.
Yeah, agreed. Lee, thank you very much for dropping in for half an hour. That is our hour done. 12 to 1. Thank you very, very much.
Lovely to see your faces, guys.
Oh, it's always lovely to see you. Thank you very much for coming on by. 12 to 1 o'clock every single day. Today we had May from our team in the UK. Then we had Tom talking about the vlog and how we're creating daily content even in this situation. What we're going to try and do tomorrow is potentially a longer form vlog piece around how we're creating content, what equipment we're using, what we're trying to do, how to make it, etc. with the whole vlog team. So that'll be Matt, Craig, and Tom. And then we had Lee Wilcox for half an hour, the CEO of Electric House. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow again, 12 till 1, hopefully with less technical issues. And yeah, we will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.